So I'll end the class with one more example that will be very relevant for the midterm. And that's about matched pairs t-test. Okay, so this is something we should definitely study for the midterm. Okay, so let's get the following scenario. So suppose I want to answer the question, does SAT tutoring help? Okay, that's the question starting out with. And so to do that, we measure two people's SAT scores before and after tutoring. Okay. So that gives us a table like this. So here's before tutoring, after tutoring. So let's say student 1 got 700 the first time and 720 the second time. Let's say the second student got 680 the first time and 685 the second time. Okay. So we want to answer this question at the end of the day. Does getting tutoring increase your SAT score? And so I can ask the following questions. So first of all, I could ask state H0 and HA. Okay. So to do that, first we have to introduce some notation, right? We have to say, right, since we're doing matched pairs, we're going to be looking at these differences. We have to tell the person like in what order you're subtracting, basically. So for the answer, you start out with saying, let D equal one of these columns minus the other one. Doesn't matter which way you do it. So I'm just going to choose after coaching minus before. Okay. And also let mu sub D be the population average of this variable D that we just invented. And so now we can state our hypotheses in terms of this D. Okay? So for instance, let's think about our alternative hypothesis. So this is what we're trying to show. And in this case, what are we trying to show? We're trying to show that SAT tutoring does help. Okay? So how do we state that in terms of D? If SAT tutoring does help, what values would we expect D to have?
Positive.
Greater than 0, yeah. So this alternative hypothesis will be that mu sub d, the population average of these d's, should be positive. Okay? And then for the null hypothesis, the null hypothesis is that SAT tutoring makes no difference at all, and so you get an average difference of 0. Okay? So now, with these hypotheses, we can ask, are the results significant at a level of alpha equals 0.02. Okay? So to do this, we need a p-value. For that, we need a t-statistic. Okay. So let's find that t-statistic, and that will give us our p-value. Okay. So remember, the t-statistic is x bar minus mu naught over s over root n. Okay. Well, in this case, we're concerned with the differences, so we can. So we need to find the average of our differences, the standard deviation of the differences, and then these two things we already have. So mu naught is what the null hypothesis tells us. Then mu is going to be 0. N is the number of students that we have in this experiment. So that's 2. Now to find what x bar is and what s is. So to do that, we have to start by finding out what these differences are. Okay, so D1 is 720 minus 700. D2 is 685 minus 680. Okay. So then you do the messy part, which is finding the average of those two numbers and the standard deviations. So the average is going to be D1 plus D2 over 2. That ends up being 12.5. The standard deviation, we have that big formula for it. So it's the square root of D1 minus 12.5 squared. So that's going to be 20 minus 12.5 squared plus 5 minus 12.5 squared all over n minus 1, which in this case is 1. And so if you plug this into your calculator, you get 1.667. So now we're almost done.
Are you going to give us that formula?
Yeah, you'll get the formula for standard deviation. And all the formulas we use today. So at the end of the day, the t-statistic is 12.5 minus 0 all over 1.667. 1.667 divided by the square root of 2, which ends up being, or sorry, screw this up. This is 10.607. Sorry, so the S is about 10, which gives us a p value of about 1.667. And so then finally, you look at this table, you see that to get a one-sided p-value of at least that 0.02 that we wanted, we need a t-score of at least 15. So we do not reject H0 because, well, 1.6 is less than 15.8. Okay.
Your 15.8 is your T star?
Yeah, it's the T star. Okay, so sorry I went 2 minutes over. Again, I do have everyone's quizzes, so something that was